Bonjour, welcome. Thank you all for joining us today for our official NASCAR Garage 56 Meet the Team. As you can see here, we are joined by some legends of motorsports. My name is Josh Hamilton with NASCAR, and on behalf of NASCAR, we are honored to be here this week participating in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. To my left, I have John Doonan, IMSA President, who is also overseeing the Garage 56 program for NASCAR. Chad Knaus, Hendrick Motorsports Vice President of Competition, 7-time NASCAR Cup Series Champion Crew Chief. Jensen Button, 2009 Formula One World Champion. Jimmy Johnson, 7-time NASCAR Cup Series Champion and co-owner of Legacy Motor Club in the NASCAR Cup Series. And Mike Rockenfeller, who is a 2-time 24-hour of Le Mans winner. Quick overview of our program today. We'll have some remarks up here, 10 to 15 minutes. We'll take some group photos and then go into breakout sessions. So there will not be time for media questions up on stage. We will do that after. I will let you know where each representative will be. We'll also be joined by a few other folks available as well. And with that, we'll get right into the program. Mr. Doonan, for those not familiar, if you can just give us an overview of what is this Garage 56 project? What's NASCAR doing in Le Mans?
Good afternoon, everyone, and to add my welcome on behalf of Jim France and the entire France family, all of our NASCAR colleagues and all of my teammates at IMSA, welcome to Le Mans, welcome to our Arena 24 Garage 56 space. If you talk about why NASCAR is here, you need to rewind the clock back to 1976 and a vision that Jim's dad, Bill France Sr., had to put NASCAR further onto a global stage. NASCAR was booming in the south of the United States, and Bill, in his vision, felt like it deserved international attention. Fast forward to 2023, Jim wanted to recreate that. And there's no better way and time to recreate it than with the next-gen car. The next-gen Cup car represents the latest and most technologically advanced Cup car ever, and it is very close to the GT cars that race here. So it was the perfect opportunity to put NASCAR once again on an international stage. Jim knocked on the door of my office and said, "John, because of our IMSA relationship with the ACO, do you think we could present the idea to be the Garage 56 entry here at Le Mans?" Of course, embraced that wholeheartedly, and then it was an opportunity to start putting together the partner list. We wanted to put together the best in NASCAR history. First, the winningest manufacturer in history, Chevrolet. The winningest and the entire partner of NASCAR since 1954, Goodyear. And finally, the winningest team in NASCAR history, Hendrick Motorsports. You don't win 14 championships in the Cup Series without being the best of the best. So congratulations, we're thrilled to have Rick here with us. We're thrilled to have Stu Grant and so many of his Goodyear colleagues, Mark Stilo, Todd Christensen, and so many from Chevrolet. And also, to rewind that clock, we're thrilled to have Herschel McGriff here with us, who was part of that driver lineup in 1976. Herschel, so good to have you with us. Throughout the process, it was extremely important that we kept as much of the NASCAR DNA as possible for the Garage 56 entry, from the way it sounds, the way that it looks, and the way that it performs. And thanks to an amazing group at Hendrick Motorsports, we've certainly achieved that. In the end, we had to decide who was going to pilot this effort. And we're going to talk to the drivers in a moment. But to pass the baton over to a legend, but someone now that I feel like I could call one of my best friends, Chad Knaus. Chad, we're finally here. Remember those first phone calls and sort of our nervousness about it, but we're finally here.
Yeah, we are. And thank you everybody for coming today to the reception. And I can go back 3 years, and Jimmy and I were working with Action Express, and Mr. Hendrick grabbed me by the arm one day and said, "Hey, I need you to help Jimmy go run the 24 Hours of Daytona." At that point, I started to work closely with Mr. France, and Jimmy and I went on to run the endurance races with Mike in the IMSA series. And then a little bit after that, Mr. France sent me a letter and said, from his assistant saying, "Mr. France requests your attendance in Le Mans." And I was like, what in the world is that about? So I ended up coming over here with Mr. France for a short stint. Unbeknownst to me, he already had the wheels spinning on what his plan was. He was kind of baiting us in from the very start, and he had a grandmaster plan. So I was very fortunate to come and spend about 4 days here 2 years ago during the COVID pandemic, and the experience was amazing. And then last year we come back with a site visit with the intention of really trying to understand what it is that we wanted to do, working closely with Goodyear, Chevrolet at that point in time, meetings with Todd and everybody, Mark Stilo, and then me coming back and feeding this information to Mr. Hendrick, and the excitement at that point just skyrocketed. And what we saw last year as a company at Hendrick Motorsports, we knew that we wanted to be involved in the law. We knew that we wanted to take part in it. We wanted to show everybody what Hendrick Motorsports was capable of doing with the Gen 7 car. And gosh, it's hard to believe it was only about 18 months ago when we had our first meeting. And here we sit today with a car that we feel very comfortable with. The drivers have been complimentary of a pit crew that is capable of hitting the car at a very fast pace, and welcomed with open arms. So it's an honor to be here today, John, and thank you for all of your support and everybody sitting up there in front of me, and especially these guys here driving the race car.
It was awesome to have the number 48 Ally car in the IMSA Championship, the Sports Car Championship, and now we've come almost halfway around the world.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? How it all ties together.
It is. Well, then it was about who were going to be our pilots, and Jim, Rick, myself, Chad, Jeff Gordon, we sat at the table at Hendrick Motorsports and talked about experience, pace, performance, and also a worldwide reach. And I can, I think, say with huge confidence that we checked every one of those boxes. And so, Mr. Button, you got the phone call. Little discussions among the other drivers about what they were doing and things like that. What is it like to drive that beast around Le Mans?
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's very special to be here. Not only because it's the best for me, the best race in the world, it's the best team event in the world, but also with these guys. You know, this is such an amazing team that everyone's put together. The first actual time I saw the car was back in Sebring in December. So I'd already spoken to Jimmy about his possibility of racing at Le Mans in a cup car, and I thought he was crazy initially. And then I spoke to Rocky, and Rocky said, "I'm testing at Sebring, do you want to come along?" I was like, "Yeah." Got on the next flight. He checked with John if it was okay if I could come and watch.
A red eye.
Yeah, took a red eye. Yeah, took a red eye. Arrived, the car was in the pits. It's like, looks cool. And then I went and watched on track. And if you haven't seen this car live yet, it's an absolute beast. When you see it go by and hear it, it just puts a massive smile on your face. And for me, after my long career in F1, I wanted to do stuff that was fun. You know, I'm in a very lucky position. I can just go and do fun racing. It's not so much a job anymore. And this just ticked all the boxes. And immediately, you know, I spoke to you guys and I said, where do I sign? I want to go racing. So that's how it started, and here we are now. You know, 6 months later, we've been through lots of testing. We've had so much fun along the way. It's been such an enjoyable experience, and I think that we've progressed a lot. And here we are, qualified 4.5 seconds quicker than all the GTE cars. I think it's a phenomenal effort by the whole team. It's down to everyone. Obviously, Rocky did the lap time, so you know, give him a little bit of praise. But it's down to the whole team. You know, I think that everything is being just spot on. All the homework that's been done by this team is phenomenal, and I would put it up there with one of the best teams I've raced with in the world.
Thank you, Jensen. And as I said, one of the keys was keeping as much NASCAR DNA in this project as we could. And who better to bring on than the winningest active and living NASCAR champion, 7-time, Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy, you got the chance in the DPI car, but when this call came, what did it mean now to be able to showcase NASCAR on an international stage?
It's been so special, and for many, many reasons. I've always had a great interest in sports car racing, and early in my NASCAR career was able to race in the Daytona X24 a handful of times, all hopeful that I could someday come to Le Mans and compete. With all the years of NASCAR and a few years in IndyCar, we're always busy on this weekend, I haven't been able to make it. So literally the first year that I am available and able to make it, I get to come with my NASCAR family, my Hendrick family, Chevrolet. There's so many familiar faces in this room, and also in the garage, many that I've worked with, of course, Chad, Greg Ives, many men and women throughout the program itself here on Garage 56. So it's really been amazing. It's been a great experience that really hits home and feels really, really good.
So Jensen came on the radio in his best Lightning McQueen imitation, said, "This is so much fun, and I am fast." And now, Jimmy, we brought not only you, but we brought what the ACO wanted. We drew the car with air jacks, thanks to our partners at Dallara. And the ACO said, "Oh no, we want to bring a traditional NASCAR pit stop to Le Mans." Talk about that, Jimmy. Obviously, you've probably done thousands of NASCAR pit stops in your career, but to have the athletes of NASCAR as part of this, what does that mean to you guys?
It's amazing, and they stand out compared to everybody else on pit lane, which is impressive. And to see them perform during the pit stop competition, I think 5th overall,
Yes, sir.
With traditional jack is spectacular, and we're all so proud. And then when we walk down pit lane, we have to go the entire distance.
You guys have a career as security guards. It was very
We
good.
do.
They're clearing the way for your crew.
The jack man still had the jack. It came all the way down pit lane and stood on the podium, which was incredible. But again, just the attention of detail. When we did our 24-hour test session, they did live and active stops every single time. So it's just been a very impressive program, start to finish. And I feel like we have felt the responsibility to come over and show the level of professionalism that exists in NASCAR and exists in the U.S. And I think we've done a really, really nice job of that.
So we talked about global reach. We talked about NASCAR DNA with Jimmy. Then we talked about experience. Out of the 3 drivers here for sure, this one has the most laps here, and not only in the car, but I think in simulators over the years. Rocky, 2 times standing on the top step of the podium here. You've also now been, in fact, all 3 of them are now NASCAR Cup drivers. They've all run in NASCAR Cup races. But Rocky, talk about what it means. You've been in this project from day one in the simulator at Hendrick and at Chevrolet's Performance Center, GM's Performance Center. What does this project mean to you?
I mean, to be honest, it's just so great to sit here now after such a long time and short time. You know, when I got asked in Sebring, I think it was last year in March, if I'm interested, I said, "What are you doing? NASCAR and Le Mans? I don't know." And then I understood who is involved, and you know, what an opportunity it is. Once in a lifetime, basically. I think people will talk about these cars for a long time. This car for a long time, going around Le Mans, and to be one of the drivers, it's just an honor to do all the development from the beginning, and then luckily those 2 joined, so it was not all on me, and yeah, it was just great, you know, to be in the simulator. I remember Jeff Gordon was there on the first day, and myself driving, and you know, when we started with the Cup car, we felt already there's so much potential, and then we tweaked it, and we got faster and faster in Le Mans on the sim. But you never know until you hit the real track. And to be here now, you know, having qualifying done, actually faster than we expected from the sim, a little bit, but pretty close. I think everybody can be so proud, and yeah, it's just fun. Everybody in the paddock, all the drivers, they come up and they're like, "Wow, this car is so cool." They were impressed by the pit stops, and yeah, I think so far we overachieved almost. And now it's the big race ahead of us, and of course, the goal is to finish, to do a good job there, and you know, 24 hours, no matter if it's Daytona, Le Mans, Nürburgring, Spa, all those races, it's tough. The weather is tough, and some things happen which you don't expect. We did a lot of preparation, endurance tests. We had, you know, very little issues, I have to say. I think I've never done the development of a car with so little problems. But we had one which was kind of a ongoing story, and we managed to fix it. So again, it's so cool, and like the other guys said, Hendrick Motorsports, unbelievable. I mean, I didn't expect, you know, how much they want to win, you know, in every, like, pit stop, quali, everything, and that's so cool. That's a good spirit.
So, mentioned the weather. Thanks to Stu Grant, Rich Kramer, and everybody, Justin Fantozzi at Goodyear. We spent, remember the morning we drove out to the San Angelo Research Test Center. It was pitch black. I thought we were never going to be seen again. And we spent the day there working on a wet tire, didn't we?
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was very interesting. To be honest, I've never done that before on like a flat patch, and it was really good because we really could adjust the level of water and, you know, try different tires so fast. Like I don't know how many sets we ran through, but a lot. So thanks to Goodyear, and I guess we need it. It looks like the weather forecast says there will be definitely some wet spots. So let's see how the tire does. I think the slick was really great so far. Slick tire really performed well, not only on one lap but also for a whole stint. And I hope the rain tire does the same thing.
Yeah. And you mentioned Hendrick, first class all the way. The garage, the way we look, the way we operate has been over the top. And then finally, Chevrolet. Jordan Taylor's here as well, one of the Corvette factory drivers. He's been a great addition to this project and helped throughout the testing. But Chevrolet has been instrumental. We've done, what, 3 30-hour engine tests, running laps of Le Mans in their cells, both, I think, in North Carolina as well as in Pontiac, Michigan. Really, really proud of that. And as Rocky said, just very smooth throughout the development project. And speaking of Chevrolet, since I was a little boy, I would go to the motor show with my dad. And I always wanted to, because Dad was in racing, see the connection between race car and street car. And the belief that the racetrack can be the absolute best laboratory for testing as well as marketing. And I'm pleased to announce, on behalf of our partners at Chevrolet, that there will be it's special, a 2024 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 Garage 56 Edition. The car is definitely inspired by this race car. It will have the same blue, it will have many features. The front fascia fixtures with dive planes, just like the Garage 56 car. A Cup car style wicker bill spoiler in the rear. We're really excited about this. I want to thank Todd Christensen, Jim Campbell, Mark Royce, everybody at GM Performance Chevrolet for doing this. In the spirit of Garage 56, they will be in a class of their own, these special edition cars. Only 56 of them will be produced for the U.S. market. And I'm pretty certain, I think we've already sold about 6 or 8 of them here tonight. And Herschel might be in for one as well. How about it, Herschel? But Todd Christensen is here and available for questions on that special edition. I believe an official news release will be going out very shortly on that. But what greater trophy to have a car named after this project. We're very excited about it. So, Josh, back over to you.
Thank you very much. A few more notes before we move on with our program. If you did not see yesterday, it was announced that Prime Video greenlit a documentary from NASCAR Studios about this entire Garage 56 program. We've had cameras from the very beginning, behind the scenes, following everything going on from day one all the way through the race this weekend. So very exciting for everybody to see there. Following our event, we would like to invite you to the Goodyear Meet the Team. That'll be at the Goodyear fitting area at 2 p.m. Mike Rockenfeller and NASCAR Vice President of Vehicle Design Brandon Thomas will be there. They'll join Goodyear executives to get a little more into the technical side of the race car. And then for the journalists, the ACO share drive that they've been giving all the information on, we have our Meet the Team invite on that. There's a QR code there. If you scan that, that will take you to all of our press materials for the week. So that includes photos and press releases, anything you need to cover our team. Feel free to reach out to me with anything else that you may need. And before we get to breakouts, we are going to do some photos, so we will invite the photographers to come in for the photos. Let me give you an overview of the breakouts. The drivers will be out on the patios. Downstairs we'll have Jimmy Johnson and Mike Rockenfeller. Upstairs, Jensen Button and Jordan Taylor. Chad Knaus will be upstairs as well, joined by some of his technical staff. Ben Wright, who has run the program on the Hendrick Motorsports side. Greg Ives, who is the crew chief for the program. And Jessica Hook, the chief of staff for the program, will be available upstairs. Jim France, NASCAR chairman and CEO, will be available down over here. Rick Hendrick, who is the owner of Hendrick Motorsports, a NASCAR Hall of Famer, he will be available in the back portion of the room over here. And as was mentioned, Todd Christensen from Chevrolet, Mark Stilo from Chevrolet. We have Stu Grant from Goodyear available on this side of the room as well. So with that, thank you again all for being here, and we will move on to the photos.